Electric vehicles versus gasoline vehicles, real-world running costs and performance. Introduction. Over the past decade, concerns about climate change and environmental pollution have created a strong wave of interest in cleaner, more sustainable transportation. Electric vehicles have emerged as a potential alternative to gasoline vehicles, not only because of their ability to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, but also because of their low running costs and superior performance in certain conditions. However, there are many differences between electric and gasoline vehicles, from their construction, running costs, performance to their environmental impact and the necessary infrastructure. Switching from a traditional gasoline vehicle to an electric vehicle requires users to carefully consider factors such as fuel costs, maintenance costs, travel distance, and recharging time. The purpose of this essay is to analyze and compare in detail between electric vehicles and gasoline vehicles, focusing on two main factors: operating costs and actual performance. Through this, we can objectively evaluate and provide comprehensive views so that consumers can make the most reasonable choice. 1. Comparing operating costs between electric vehicles and gasoline vehicles. One of the outstanding factors of electric vehicles is that fuel costs are much lower than gasoline vehicles. For electric vehicles, energy is provided through the electricity grid, which can be charged at home or at public charging stations. Electricity prices are often cheaper than gasoline, leading to lower monthly fuel costs for electric vehicles than gasoline vehicles. For example, with an average electricity consumption of about 15 kWh per 100 km, if the electricity price is calculated at 0.13 USD kWh, the cost for an electric vehicle to run 100 kilometers is only about 2 USD. In contrast, a gasoline car with a consumption of 8 liters, 100 kilometers, and an average gasoline price of 1.2 USD liter will cost about 9.6 USD for the same distance. Gasoline cars require regular maintenance such as oil changes, oil filters, engine and transmission checks, because they use internal combustion engines with many mechanical parts. The maintenance costs of gasoline cars can therefore increase over time. Meanwhile, electric cars have a simpler design, do not need regular oil changes, and do not have an exhaust system. However, the battery of an electric car is the most important component and can also be expensive to maintain or replace. In addition, electric cars need maintenance of the braking system and battery cooling system to ensure safety and performance. Electric car batteries have an average life of 8 to 15 years, depending on the type of battery and usage conditions. When a battery reaches the end of its life, the cost of replacing it can range from $5, $0 to $15,000, depending on the capacity and type of battery. This is a significant expense for electric vehicle owners to consider, especially when compared to the cost of replacing key components on gasoline vehicles, such as the transmission or engine. The resale value of electric vehicles and gasoline vehicles can vary depending on market demand and technology. Old electric vehicles may depreciate faster due to the rapid development of new battery technology. However, with supportive policies and the development of charging infrastructure, the resale value of electric vehicles is showing signs of improvement. 2. Real-world performance of electric and gasoline vehicles. Electric vehicles can accelerate faster than gasoline vehicles because the electric motor can provide instant torque. In contrast, gasoline vehicles have to go through many steps to create kinetic energy and depend on the transmission system to accelerate, making the acceleration not as fast as electric vehicles. Gasoline vehicles have the advantage of long travel distance, especially with a full tank of gas that can allow the vehicle to travel from 400 to 600 km. Meanwhile, current electric vehicles have a limited range due to the low battery capacity compared to gasoline vehicles. However, today's high-end electric vehicles, such as the Tesla Model S or Lucid Air, can travel over 500 kilometers on a single full charge. Gasoline vehicles only need a few minutes to fully refuel, while current electric vehicles need from 30 minutes to several hours to charge depending on the type of charger. DC fast charging stations are being developed to reduce charging times. However, charging times are still a disadvantage compared to gasoline vehicles. Gasoline vehicles can operate well in more extreme conditions, especially in cold weather. On the other hand, electric vehicles can experience reduced performance when the ambient temperature is too low or too high due to the impact on the battery. 3. Comparing the environmental friendliness of electric and gasoline vehicles. Gasoline vehicles emit CO2 and other emissions when burning fuel, while electric vehicles do not emit CO2 during travel. However, electric vehicles still have an environmental impact from the production of electricity, especially if the source of electricity is not renewable. The production and disposal of electric vehicle batteries can have a large environmental impact due to the mining and disposal of metals such as lithium, cobalt, and nickel. However, electric vehicle manufacturers are working to develop battery recycling technology to minimize this impact. Electric motors have much higher energy conversion efficiency than internal combustion engines. On average, electric vehicles can convert about 85–90% of the energy from the battery into kinetic energy, while gasoline vehicles only achieve about 30–35%. Many governments are implementing policies to encourage the use of electric vehicles, such as tax exemptions, subsidies, and the development of charging infrastructure to encourage users to switch from gasoline vehicles to electric vehicles. These policies help increase the attractiveness of electric vehicles. 4. Initial investment cost factors and long-term economic value. Currently, electric vehicles often cost more than gasoline vehicles, especially for high-end models. However, this cost tends to decrease as large-scale production and battery technology improve. Analysis of the overall cost over the life of the vehicle shows that although electric vehicles have a higher initial purchase price, lower operating costs can partially offset the initial cost. In addition, with government support, electric vehicles can become more economically attractive. Electric vehicles have the advantage of saving fuel and maintenance costs in the long term, especially when gasoline prices fluctuate. Maintenance costs for electric vehicles are lower due to their simple structure and do not require regular maintenance like gasoline vehicles. 5. The future of electric and gasoline vehicles. Battery technology and charging infrastructure are advancing rapidly, promising improvements in charging times, battery capacity, and cost reductions. Companies and governments around the world are investing in charging infrastructure to support the growth of electric vehicles. Although gasoline vehicles are facing many challenges, internal combustion engine technology and alternative fuels are still being researched to reduce emissions. Gasoline vehicles may still exist in some areas, such as off-road vehicles or heavy trucks. The future of sustainable transportation will likely be a combination of electric vehicles, hybrid vehicles, and alternative fuel vehicles. Forecasts show that the shift from gasoline to electric vehicles will be strong as technology develops and costs decrease, promoting environmentally friendly transportation. Conclusion: electric and gasoline vehicles each have their own advantages and disadvantages in terms of operating costs, performance, and environmental impact. Electric vehicles have advantages in terms of fuel and maintenance costs and reduced greenhouse gas emissions, while gasoline vehicles still have the advantage in terms of travel distance and quick refueling time. Choosing between electric and gasoline vehicles depends on individual needs and usage conditions. With technology trends and government support policies, electric vehicles may become a more popular means of transportation in the near future, providing a sustainable and efficient solution for consumers.